that's the best way to lose votes with Black. She was pandering. Everybody in the room know it. When they said, "What are you carrying in your purse?" They would have had more respect for her if she said, "Well, thanks to your people, I carry mace." and
All right, glad to have. Well, I always say that, but okay. This is one. Let me introduce this next guest. Usually, we give a lot of plugs. Really obvious. He has a tremendous podcast, the Nick DiPaolo podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Nick DiPaolo, DiPaolo. The funniest man alive. For me, my opinion, I think he is the funniest man walking planet Earth right now. Nick, sorry for the borderline faggotry, fangirlism. Are you there?
Yeah, that's a hell of an introduction. There's nowhere to go but down. But did you just say faggotry? You can say that on terrestrial radio?
No, we can't. I can, because Not Gay Jared can edit it, so he can plan for it. But you have to be on a short leash because we've listened to your podcast. Man, I mean, it's one of the. I think we talked about this because thank you. You played this rant that I did at UMass, and I was unbelievably flattered because if anything, you know, I was channeling people from whom I've grown up on, like you. You've dealt with this since before I was born. Do you feel like it has gotten worse recently? I know you won't do college campuses, but even just in the last few years, because you're known for a guy who pisses people off. That's kind of your brand.
I guess. What pisses me off when somebody goes, "I've been following you since before you were born." That kind of.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, the PC. It's got progressively worse. I mean, like I told you, I did stand up. My first open mic gig was like in 1987, and after about my third time on stage, somebody goes, "Hey, you're kind of like politically incorrect. That's where it's headed, man. You're in the right spot." And even then, I said to the guy, "I don't think so. I think it's only get exponentially worse since we let women vote." But anyways, what?
You know, it's funny you said that. You sort of, I would think that in '87 it was certainly more open. That was part of my rant, right? Even if you look at the hippies back then, they at least sort of tried to feign like they were fighting for free speech. Kids on college campus right now, you know, not only were they not even there for 9/11, Nick, so this is even for me, just a few years removed, it's just sort of been assumed, well, hate speech isn't acceptable, offensive speech isn't acceptable, it's not even an issue to them, it's just assumed, we have to limit speech. So I got to imagine from '87 to there, it's a stark contrast.
They weren't even around for 9/11. With the views like that, it kind of makes me wish they were. On the third floor doing some banking. But,
in the sunglass hut?
Yeah, so picking up a Jamba Juice. But
oh God, we're gonna get letters.
Yeah,
but...
no, they just look. They've been brainwashed, and just, but yeah, back in '87. If you watch movies from the '80s, you can see the liberal jerk-offs who make film at work. That's when it started to take over the politically correct messages in movies.
Right.
Watch Philadelphia with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah.
You want to see an attack on old white men?
In the '80s with Reagan, I think they had free rent. Like the perfect example is Philadelphia, the AIDS thing. It was never an epidemic. It was never an epidemic. That your chances of getting AIDS, unless you're shooting dirty needles and having gay orgies in a truck stall, are statistically less than 0% in the United States. They always have been. And you know,
I said that. I said I see a lot of unhealthy Haitian choreographers, but a lot of rugged construction workers.
Haitian choreographers.
And I was making these jokes at the peak of, the type of material that's kept me doing radio in my basement the last few years. But, I mean, Trump, look, I'm not a huge Trump fan and stuff,
right.
But, he sort of won me over just with a set of balls on him. I was half asleep on the couch, 6 months ago when he was imitating that reporter from the New York Times, just disabled guy or whatever. And I almost fell off the couch laughing. I went, "Oh, he's got my vote." Not that I want to make fun of physically challenged people. I'm just saying.
Is that an endorsement?
Fresh air.
You mentioned Black Lives Matter before we went to the break. This is a big shift. When I was at not UMass before that, I was at Cal Poly, and we had bomb threats, and we had to have cops go through. Black Lives Matter showed up And in the paper, they fact-checked my jokes and asked me to check my privilege. You have anything like that happen?
I'm in clubs more than I am theaters, and yeah, it is college campuses, because I don't do college campuses. I did one in Staten Island, but Staten Island, college in Staten Island, that's like, I think it was a DeVry. No, I don't know what it was. It was the black people my age like to know where you stand. They like the crazy white comic who is speaking his mind.
Right.
I was just in Arlington, Virginia this past weekend, and there was a black guy right in the middle. I mean, with a do-rag on and I think he was wearing a tank top. I was playing to him. I was feeding off his energy the whole time. He was laughing and the more honest I was being, the harder he was laughing. Came up to me after the show. Then he tweeted me. And this is true, in my 28 years of doing stand-up, I swear to God, I've had maybe 10 black people walk out because they, on my show because they thought I was as opposed to, and I'm not kidding you, it's hundreds and hundreds of white young kids.
Right. Yeah, I know. They're the ones that get offended for the guy.
I'm totally honest on stage, no matter who's sitting in the crowd.
Right.
But here's a good example. Hillary, at that black radio station saying that she had hot sauce.
Oh, my gosh. We ran with that. We had that on a loop like a morphine drip.
That's the best way to lose votes with black. She was pandering. Everybody in the room know it. When they said, "What are you carrying in your purse?" They would have had more respect for her if she said, "Well, thanks to your people, I carry mace." and they would have laughed their ass off. And at least that's the black people I grew up with.
It's not the same, man. If I can convince you at all, and maybe I can't listen, you don't need to take it, but there are kids out there who need to hear someone like you. They're just not aware that you can say this stuff. They're terrified.
I'll play psychologist.
Yeah.
It's got to be. There has to be good money for me to go to a college and be aggravated by these little fascist f***s.
Do you follow mixed martial arts at all? I know you're a sports guy, but do you follow like the UFC?
I choked out my wife last night.
Well, yeah, one does.
No, I watch it a little bit because I know Rogan pretty well.
Yes.
And I'm not like an avid fan, but it's funny when I first saw it. I still laugh when I watch because I grew up on watching boxing. And when I watch UFC, it looks like you see two guys in bare feet and shorts. It looks like they're getting a fight at a pool party.
I know. Even though they disagree with you vehemently, I can't imagine someone like Klein or Carlin saying, "Nick, you shouldn't say this because it's offensive."
I can't. No, you're absolutely right. I can't imagine any comedian saying that. It almost tells you that the DNA, they really aren't a comic. I don't even, I can't even grasp that. It's one of the fringe benefits of being a comic. I don't take it for granted.
Right.
At all.
Well,
I never have. Even when I first started, that I can say anything. One of the few people that can go to work and say whatever you want. Right.
And so that was the order. You are right in that mix. But yeah, Klein and Carlin and obviously Cosby until, the kind of whole rape thing. But there are people like...
What happened to Cosby?
Well, he raped the equivalent to a small Haitian village. So... I
met him. I think he is guilty because I met him once. I shook his hand after a show in Atlantic City about 15 years ago. Next thing you know, I wake up, I'm wearing nothing but a Temple T-shirt, and it said, there's a bunch of pudding pop wrappers stuck to my back. And I don't know what happened.
Hey, if you like this clip, it's taken from the full-length podcast. Every week you can click that box down below to watch the full free video cast or subscribe on iTunes to watch on the go. Click my face to go to louderwithcrowder.com where we write plenty of articles, columns, and upset those who are easily triggered. Or click below me. There's some other video down there. I don't know what it is yet. Not Gay Jared is going to toss. It's probably going to be something ambiguous but uncomfortable.